Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. Well, I've discovered there's a small problem when you decide to start trying to organize your fish room, and that is, once you get started, you want to keep on going. There's an awful lot of stuff, especially with the number of years I've been doing this, that you accumulate. And that organizer I put together last is really great. It has drawers, and I'm going to be able to store an awful lot of stuff in there. But I also have, well, kind of a small problem, I guess. And that is with small bits and pieces. You end up with, over the years, accumulating air stones, valves, connectors, suction cups, all kinds of little bits and pieces. And for the moment, almost all that stuff is stored in bins, well, to the right of the saw here in that system I'd shown you. And what would happen is I would open up a package for a client, I wouldn't need some of the parts, and I would throw the rest in the bins. And well, over the years, you just forget what's there, and it's not at all organized. So I want to take that rack I put together, and I want to make a couple of organizers. I originally planned on making one, but I want to keep using all the offcuts I have, and this is some of the, well, actually, almost all of the last of the 1/4-inch plywood I have from that other job I did. Now, none of the pieces here are of sufficient size that I can make this as one unit. So I'm going to make two, and they're going to sit side by side. And they're going to sit on a bit of a shelf in there, and I'll be able to pull them out if I want to. And they're going to each have, sliding drawers in them. It will allow me to have some small bins, a lot like the one I have that's in the drawer here for my acrylic workstation that I can just pull out. Use the bits and pieces that I want, put it back in, and of course I will be able to label everything, and actually on top of that, go through all the stuff that I have and get to the point where I can get rid of a bunch of the junk I just don't need and put the rest of it in this system. Now, I am going to end up making another pair of these really. I ended up cutting a bit more acrylic than I needed anyway, so I am going to put another one together. Of course, we'll have to pick up the plywood for that, but 1/4-inch is not too exorbitant at the moment, so hopefully I'll be able to get that quite easily and get that done, because I think these are going to be actually really quite useful. Like I said, I am finding the one I put together for the drawer system on this workstation very useful, and I think this is easily going to be just as good. So what I'm doing here is I am using some of the techniques I was using on the other channel. By the way, I think for the most part I am going to stop making videos for that one. I will put the odd bit, the odd little piece up and down for every now and then. But I'm going to basically focus almost exclusively on putting stuff up for this channel. The problem is, of course, it just takes too much time. There's just not enough time to make 4 videos a week. And unfortunately, that's what I would have to be able to do, or, of course, cut down on what I do on this channel. I really don't want to. I'm really enjoying all the contacts I've made here, and, of course, all the stuff I get to build. So that means every now and then you're going to have to put up with a non-fish build like this, but for the most part, it is going to be fish-related. And, well, like I said, I'll try and keep everything as smooth as possible and as interesting as possible. So what I'm doing here is I've taken the 1/4-inch, and as you saw, I cut rabbets in it. That allows me to have more contact on the glue. Butt joints don't hold together very well. This holds together very well. I've made some small drawer organizers already for this, and on the other channel I put together some dice trays, that sort of stuff, and they hold together exceptionally well. And as you can see, I don't have all the clamps I could use, but I find if you take like a piece of wood on the left there, a little bit of tape, keep things nice and square, and put some weight on top of it, it is just as good. I mean, it holds everything together properly, and the glue sets up quite nicely. So I'm going to take this all apart, take all the tape off it, and then what I need now is to put together some drawers for this. Basically slide in bits and for all the little bits and pieces. Now I'm not going to make that out of wood. And as far as this goes, this could have just as easily been done in acrylic. And it would have been a lot easier and a lot faster if I actually had made it out of acrylic. But I do like the look of wood, and as I said in the beginning of this, I'm trying to make this project, and actually a lot of projects going forward, out of as much in the way of recycle as I can and using up as many of the offcuts I have as possible. And this is perfect timing to use up the last bit of the 1/4 inch I have. Unfortunately, it was not wide enough for me to do this all in one big piece, so I am making 2 boxes instead of 1. But they are going to sit side by side on a shelf, and actually not really going to make that much of a difference. Now I am going to make the drawers that go into these out of acrylic. I want them to be clear, and it's just going to make it a lot easier when it comes to organizing stuff in this. I am going to label everything, of course, but being able to look into the front of this and see what's in there just by a glance will also help. So there you go. These are nice and sturdy. A few little bits of piece of tape left. I do have to sand them all down, of course, and get off the bits of glue and tape marks and a few scratches and whatnot, but there you go. 2 drawers of 2 different sizes, which is good, and the other one is identical. And actually, when it comes to this, it doesn't really matter which way is up or down. They're perfectly fine both ways. So now I just have to take the acrylic, and this part's going to be very fast. And you can see, I mean, the other one, it took me, to make those 2 containers, took about 3 or 4 hours, I think, on the saw, and I had to glue them up, which wasn't too far, or too long, I should say. And then, of course, it had to cure overnight. This, on the other hand, as you've seen me do many times, sets up very fast. As a matter of fact, basically as soon as I've done this, it is done. And that means on the saw it took about 20 minutes, half hour maybe, to cut all the pieces. And then, as you can see, it's very fast to glue this together. The whole time, probably about 2-3 hours, start to finish. And that was also... you're going to see in a second here, it's going to, the cut right there. The reason for that is when I put this together, I wanted to glue on one side, glue on an end, and then do a test fit for each of those slots, because I am using wood that I have had in the shop for a little while, and 1/4 inch can bow a little bit and warp, and it is very difficult to take all those out in the style I was doing with that. So I wanted to make sure everything fit. But we're all good. There's a little few pieces of glue on the track on the inside of each of those slots, but I'll sand that all down, and that won't be a problem at all, and these will just slide in perfectly well. The other thing I was thinking about when I was putting these together was whether or not to, what style of handle I wanted on them. I was thinking about using the same handles as I'm using for the drawers, but I changed my mind because, first off, it would be a lot more work. And I have an awful lot of offcuts of acrylic, so it is far faster for me just to saw up a couple of those pieces and weld them together and then stick them on. I did decide to do one thing different with them, and that is after I welded them together, I did a sanding on them. I frosted them up so they look a little bit nicer, I think, that way. And it made it hopefully a little bit more presentable. So I'm going to slide this in, and you can see how easy these slide in. This is really nice. This is exactly how I would like it. It fits beautifully. All I need now is to put on the handles and, of course, put them in place and show you what it's going to look like. This is going to be actually really helpful. I'm going to be able to put an awful lot of material in this, and I am going to make some subdividers for this, small containers, and as you can see, they lift up nicely. I can take them out, and this is the part. I mean, I like this. And of course, as you look here, you can see right inside. You can see inside the drawers. You can see what's in them. And this is going to be awesome for getting things organized and prepared, and so hopefully findable. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. We will be back to on Sunday of the regular vlog, and next week I have some builds for actual fish tank stuff. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.